So welcome back. This is a follow-up to the last video I did, and that got a lot of traction, which is not normal for this channel. If this channel cracks a 4-figure view count, I'm a happy bunny. And right now the Stellantis video is something like 25,000 views. That's completely abnormal for me. But anyway, sparked a lot of debate, a lot of conversation, and most comments were really insightful and put into words a lot of my thoughts, which was great. So anyway, I thought I'd reflect on that and also steer the conversation towards what can be done to save Stellantis, or is it possible? And in my opinion, the short answer is no, it cannot be saved. At least not the entity that it is now. But can the brands that make up Stellantis be saved? That's the big question. Now, the first thing to be done is to address the existing problems. And as one comment, I think it's the most voted comment, eloquently put it, too many brands, too much cost cutting, too many rebadged cars, and disastrous reliability. And I agree with all of that. Although the reliability part, I'm not really privy to that because I haven't really driven any Stellantis cars in the past few years, to the best of my knowledge, nor lived with them. Perhaps that's the most important thing, because you can drive one as a rental car and it, you know, does all right and then breaks down with someone else. But I'm getting sidetracked here. I think that the first thing to do is to get rid of the person who created all this trouble in the first place, Carlos Tavares, the CEO. Stellantis was his idea. He created it to cut costs. You share platforms, you share components and parts and dealerships and all of that rubbish, and it just isn't going well. I mean, near where I live, the Citroen dealer is now a Citroen, Fiat, Opel and a Bath dealer, a Bath. Stellantis was made to cut costs. He said it would save something like $5 billion every year. Okay, that's fine, that's some money, but anyway, cutting costs is a bit of a... We'll get to cutting costs in a moment, let's just put it that way. Anyway, for the time being, I would get rid of Carlos Tavares. It's weird because Carlos Tavares was a person who had a background in motorsport. Well, is a person, should I say, has a background in motorsport, but the petrol-headedness gave way to the bean counter. And that's all he's about. I know when he got to Peugeot Citroen, he cut costs, and that's how he got the company back into the black. I don't know what he did with Opel Vauxhall, but Opel Vauxhall was not profitable under General Motors and became profitable under the PSA umbrella, so to speak. But Stellantis is not going well. So I would get rid of Carlos Tavares first and foremost, and I think most people who are watching this video would agree with me. And I also think, by the way, let me all just say, most people who are watching, you who are watching, you're probably not a finance person yourself, you're just a car guy. And it boggles the mind how sometimes car guys, you can see things that, you know, someone with fancy qualifications like a big automotive CEO can't see. I mean, for God's sake, putting so many brands under the same umbrella is going to go wrong. You know that. There's the example of British Leyland. How can someone think it's going to go any differently? That's something, I mean, as I say, I've got no financial background at all, you know. I can't tell swap markets from bonus caps or any other rubbish. But I can probably tell you that this idea was going to go wrong. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Get rid of Carlos Tavares. The next step would not to be replace him with a CEO. I would replace him with 2 CEOs, if I may explain. One for North America, one for Europe. Forget China for the moment. I know it's a big market, but China is a very particular case, and you know, you have to get in bed with the CCP to make any headwind there. So let's leave China out of it. I would have a CEO from North America, and that person would know about the North American market, North American tastes, North American car culture, etc. And the same thing for Europe, but with a European CEO. The thing is, I think, with Carlos Tavares is that he is European. He knows the European market, but I'm not sure if he knows the North American market like maybe he thinks he does. You have to like live there and grow up there and know the market from inside out to be able to make any headway there anyway. That's my opinion, by the way. I might be wrong, but that's what I would do. I would have the company separated into 2 entities, and one would concentrate on one market, one on the other. They'd still share components and parts and platforms and engines and all of that stuff. But you don't have to be part of the same conglomerate, in all honesty, to be frank with you. You don't have to. It's something I just don't get. You know, you've got, for example, I know it's not a passenger vehicle, but you've got these vans that are all over the place. The Opel Vivaro and Citroen Jumpy, they're the same van. And then you've got the Toyota ProAce, which is the same van, but it's rebadged. You don't have to be part of the same company. Or think about Lancia. The Lancia Dedra, I think it is, and the Saab 9000 and the Fiat Croma, basically all the same car underneath. They're not the same company at all. So yeah, you can still cut costs without having to be part of a big unwieldy conglomerate. Furthermore, Stellantis is not really, I mean, it's one of the biggest car makers in the world, but it's not like VW or Toyota with a massive core brand. This is more like three midgets in a trench coat. They're very small things that make up one big thing, and you know, that big thing doesn't really stand up to scrutiny. I mean, we're talking about the North American market. VW, one of the very few brands that managed to crack the North American market with their own core brand. But it's a very difficult thing to do. They're probably also riding high on the coattails of the fact that SUVs are becoming very popular in Europe, so they can sell the same Tiguan they do here in Europe, in North America. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting into too much detail here. But yeah. What, do you like my bum? I know it's pretty. But yeah, there's a very different markets. There's a reason why in America, in North America, the best-selling vehicle is the Ford F-150, and in Europe for many years it was the VW Golf. They're very different places when it comes to cars, especially. Next step, I would sell brands, because if you sell brands you can make money, and that's what you need. That's what Stellantis needs right now, money for investment. I would sell them because brands also are very valuable, and that's something that, you know, in the comments sometimes showed up, like people saying, just get rid of the French brands, let them go under because they're crap and all they make is crap cars and they're all crap and they're horrible and they're crap. I mean, they might be crap to you, but other people might hold them in high regard. And brands have recognition, they have history, they have following. You know, you look at a brand like I do, you know, Citroen. I know immediately, I look at a brand like Citroen. It doesn't even have to be Citroen, it might be another brand like Volvo. I like Volvos a lot, but I look at the brand, I know what it represents, I know what it stands for. That's important, that's valuable. So you can sell brands and make money. And I wouldn't let them go under, because letting them go under is a statement of incompetence. It's basically saying, I would rather let this brand go under than sell it and have it become a competitor, because I don't believe my product is good enough to stand up to competition. That's a terrible statement to make. You're basically saying, customers, get stuffed. I would rather you had the choice of only an inferior product instead of having competition and having a better product. And the next and final step, and this might seem a bit obvious to us who are car guys, but it just doesn't seem obvious to people who are at the top. All they think about is bloody money and counting beans. But anyway, and that is invest. Make a good product. Cutting costs is all very nice. It's a good way of getting back into the black if things aren't looking very good. But it's only a stopgap measure. If you have cost cutting as your philosophy, as for example many American car brands did over many years, it'll come back and bite you on the backside, because you begin to feel the cheapness in the car. Cost cutting then is reflected onto your product, and it feels cheap and nasty. And from what I gather, that's what led to the three American brands getting into so much trouble in the late 2000s. You cut costs, and one thing is, you know, it all goes to shareholders and profits. And, you know, you can see how that goes in other instances. For example, Boeing, they began to do that after they merged with McDonnell Douglas. And they adopted this idea of all profits goes to shareholders, and, you know, shareholder value, that's all that matters. And they let their products go into the drain. So, I was going to say a naughty word there, but I managed to stop it. But anyway, if you're going to sell brands as well, use that money to invest in a really good product. It might be a car, it might be an engine, it might be a drivetrain, now that we're talking about hybrids and batteries and all of that stuff. You know, that's a worthwhile investment. It's got a future. And that's something that's been missing ever since Carlos Tavares took over Peugeot Citroën. Where's that really good product? Where's that really good solution? I mean, we've had for the last 10 odd years the 1.2 PureTech petrol engine as the more or less go-to solution for cars that are powered by petrol, and the consensus is it's absolute garbage. How come in these years they haven't made a proper engine or at least develop this one to a point where it's not so unreliable. I mean, you've also got the 1.6 THP, I think it's the Prince engine. You know, people also don't have nice things to say about that. Why not develop a properly good engine? I don't know, I just don't understand that personally. You know, we've still got 10 years till the petrol and diesel ban. You know, just at least invest in something and you can sell in that time. Those are my solutions, by the way, in a nutshell. 1, get rid of Karol Stawacz. 2, get 2 CEOs in his place, one for each market, who knows the market inside out. 3, sell off brands that might step on the toes of other brands and make money from that. And 4, stop cost cutting, invest in proper products. This is more or less simple, the roadmap, but you know, as I said before, this seems to be beyond the grasp of those big shot CEOs. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I would do to try to save Stellantis, although in a different form. I think the company itself, as I said, is doomed, but that's a way that maybe you could salvage some of the brands, some of what's already there. I think in the next video, I'm going to do another video and we'll have a chat about which brands you would save and which you would not. Or sell, I don't know. I think it's an interesting exercise. Now, let me just say, if you heard anything in this video that sounds similar to a comment you made, that's very probable. Your comments were brilliant. There were so many, I couldn't answer all of them. You know, I did try to put a heart in as many of them as I could. It was fantastic to read. Your feedback is very much appreciated. And please continue to do so. Please leave a comment here. I would be very grateful to you. So if you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you in a future video. I bid you farewell. Sell off brands that are superfluous to the cause. Now the thing is, I've got a munchkin here, Amelia in frames, my daughter. Stay still, daughter. Yes, that's it. Wave with the left hand. You shouldn't be in shots because you're a child. I can't put kids in YouTube videos, so probably her face will be pixelated. I'm not. I don't know. Anyway, why? You can't. É verdade. Não se pode pôr a criança. Quer dizer, pode-se pôr, mas é arriscado. From the top.